Hello and welcome to lesson number 3 of Realty Ready. In this lesson we will talk about real estate metrics, and this is something very important for you as an agent to understand because all investors care a lot about the numbers when investing in property. So in this lesson we will discuss trust the numbers, capitalization rate, gross operating income, net operating income, internal rate of return, return on investment, cash on cash return, loan to value ratio, debt service coverage ratio, outstanding loans and leverage, equity, profit from sale, and occupancy rates. You need to trust the data and the numbers that you are presented with. So do a little research and make sure everything adds up. When it comes to property investments, one of the crucial things you have to understand is the difference between ROI, return on investment, and ROE, return on equity. That's because property investments allow you to borrow money from the bank or pay for the property in installments to the developer, which increases your returns dramatically. There is no other investment vehicle that can give you this extent of leverage, yield, low tenure, and the flexibility of enjoying the product you invested in at the same time. Only a physical property can. Now let's look at the most important real estate metrics that you need to know. One is capitalization rate. Capitalization rates, otherwise known as cap rates, are one of the important starting points for real estate investments. Essentially, the cap rate allows real estate investors to estimate the potential returns on a property. You can use the cap rate, for example, to compare similar properties in different markets to get a basic understanding of returns and risks. To calculate the capitalization rate, you divide annual net operating income by the cost or the value of the asset. Since cap rates are based on the projected estimates of the future income, they are subject to high variance. It then becomes important to understand what constitutes a good cap rate for an investment property. This rate also includes the duration of time it will take to recover the invested amount in a property. For instance, a property having a cap rate of 10% will take around 10 years for recovering the investment. However, a major flaw with this particular metric is that it doesn't account for the associated risks that come with running a rental property. For example, the age or location of the property type, or rent vacancy. As such, it can only give you an indication of the property potential rather than an accurate picture or rate of return or risk. Gross operating income. The gross operating income is the overall expected income, not including any of the estimated losses, which would be associated with expenses and costs such as maintenance or vacancies. Net operating income. The net operating income takes the gross operating income and accounts for the operating expenses. This number then gives you the basis for estimated profit. Net operating income includes income from rent, parking, and other monthly fees. Expenses include vacancy and credit losses, insurance, management fees, utilities, maintenance type expenses, and management type expenses. Net operating income does not include costs which are unique to each investor, such as mortgage. When this metric is used in other industries, it is referred to as EBIT, which stands for earnings before interest and taxes. Internal rate of return. The internal rate of return estimates a property's overall profitability. The calculation goes beyond the net operating income to estimate long-term yield, taking into account for initial investment costs, cash flow, and property sale proceeds. Return on investment. Return on investment is beneficial for analyzing how well a deal did in the past. This type of measurement is always important. You can't fine-tune your future investing unless you know how previous investments performed. Of course, when using ROI or return on investment to analyze whether or not to buy a property, it's only as good as your assumptions you put into it. Cash flow. Cash flow indicates how well your property or business is operating. It is the net cash left at the end of the month after all expenses have been paid. This doesn't account for taxes. Cash on cash return. This metric is another important figure for an investment's performance. To calculate the cash on cash return, sometimes known as the cash yield, calculate the total annual net cash flow and divide it by the total amount of cash invested. Loan-to-value ratio. The loan-to-value ratio is the ratio of the loan to the value of the asset you're purchasing. Financial institutes and lenders use loan-to-value ratios to assess the risk of the loan. The higher the loan-to-value, the riskier you are seen to be by a lending or financial institute. Debt service coverage ratio. This is another metric that lenders pay close attention to. This metric is evidence of your ability to repay your loans. To calculate your debt service coverage ratio, you divide your net operating income by your debt payments on either a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. Outstanding loans and leverage. Leverage is your ability to borrow other people's money like banks, with the expectation that the cash flow and appreciation will exceed the cost to borrow and will therefore expand your opportunities to profit. Equity. Equity is the flip side of the outstanding loans. Equity is the value of the property minus any outstanding debt or your remaining installments when you buy property on payment plan from developer. Your equity should grow over time as long as your property is in an appreciating market or neighborhood, and you should make sure that your calculations take an annual appreciation rate into account when assessing property value. The other side that grows equity is the paying off of any outstanding debt. Both of those work separately and together to increase or decrease your equity in the property. Profit from sale. Eventually, you might want to sell the property, and your profit from the sale of the property is another important consideration of the performance of your investment. The profit from the sale of your property is a measure of the appreciated value of the property plus all of the cash flows minus any outstanding debt and purchase and sales costs. Occupancy rates. Unoccupied properties generate no income, yet most of the operating costs will remain the same, and there may even be additional operating costs associated with finding and screening new tenants. Investors tend to track historical occupancy rates and keep an eye on those units which lose income through higher vacancy rates. For conservative, you should assume a vacancy rate of 5 to 10% for all your expense calculations. This ensures that if the property goes unrented for some time, you will have the cash flow to cover your expenses during this period. And that was all for this lesson. I hope you'll find these metrics useful and you'll implement them in your daily real estate practice. As always, thank you for your attention and see you in the next one.